back and we came up with a name for our game.
A name for our game!
So our game that we started, that we do now and then, that we were calling Agree or Disagree.
Boring.
We are now calling Booze or Wooze.
Booze or Wooze, except these signs still say agree or disagree, because we're just going with it. We're on the fly. We don't got time.
It's one day at a time, and we've been drinking these drinks. Okay.
Booze or Wooze. So booze or disagree. Wooze or agree.
Woo!
Maybe we can have some like little sound effects in the back of woo.
Oh yeah, we gotta get a little sound machine.
Yeah.
We can press the button.
Oh, that would be fun.
I can sing something into this for next time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Mark's always ready.
He's ready.
Thank God for Mark.
Thank G for Mark E. T.
Holy shit. Okay.
So today on our Booze and Wooze segment, I thought we would talk all things workplace wellness. Mm-hmm. Because one of the things that we do at Pinnacle Partnerships, there are some companies here and there who do it, but never the way we do it, is instituting the concept of a quiet week.
What's a quiet week, Diana?
A quiet week is basically is when we say no to meetings.
No. Booze!
Boo for meetings. Mm-hmm. And we just give everyone that works with us time and space to do deep dives into projects, to do research, and also deep dives into self-care and restoring work-life balance.
Woo!
So I'm really excited about Quiet Week. I always look forward to it. I always have things that I'm like can't wait to get to.
Yeah.
And so.
And I feel like at the end we're all so happy that we did it.
Yes.
And also we're like, we could really do like 2 weeks.
I know.
A quiet week.
We're like, are we sure we just want to do these quarterly? Because that's what we've been doing is quarterly. So every 3 months, we take a full week of no meetings, and it's really nice. It's really nice to be able to, because in the rigmarole, it's just like meetings. Like our days are just filled with meetings, and since COVID times and remote work, we're able to fit more meetings in than we used to.
Quote unquote. Fit more in. AKA nobody goes pee anymore during the day.
Back to back to back to back.
Like
on Zoom or Teams. And so a week without meetings is much needed and can really make a difference. And it just, I think, points to a larger conversation about what wellness in the workplace looks like, right? We're constantly, as a society, trying to figure out what that work-life balance is. And, I think for us as founders of a company, we are constantly thinking about how do we make sure that we live and breathe mental wellness, not just from the services that we provide to the community, but also for us and the people that we work with and that work with us here. So, and I know, and a lot of companies are grappling with what wellness and well-being looks like, especially in a time where stress, anxiety, mental health challenges are heightened.
Too many companies right now are grappling with if they should make people come back to the office. That's all I gotta say.
Well, that's one of the things, and I think that's actually one of the statements that I have for this
Let me stop talking then. Let me shut the fuck up.
So we are going to just, a lot of companies are grappling, and I know the challenge, right? Like, for some people it's very black and white, and for other companies they are making choices based off of various factors, and so workplace wellness has become a little bit controversial to kind of see what different companies are doing and why they're making the choices that they're making. So I thought we could just kind of go through and do some agree or disagrees.
I like it. Booze or wooze?
Booze or wooze? Okay, here's one.
I'm gonna try not to make this into a competition because it's not. But I can't help it. I'm a Taurus.
I love the self-awareness.
Do you, Dr. Dahyana? All right, let's go.
Okay.
I hope your face doesn't get stuck like that.
It won't. Okay, first statement. Remote work is eroding the work-life balance, not enhancing it. Boo or woo? This one's hard for me.
Booze. Fucking pick a side.
Boo, woo, woo.
Oh, God.
Woo. Boo. Boo.
This is exactly how it gets into a competition. I can already see where this is going.
Okay, I'm leaning more towards this, so I'll say disagree as well, but I'll tell you why.
So you're gonna say booze.
Yes, somewhat.
Go ahead. Tell me why this is such a fucking tough decision.
I think it's tough because, okay, so for me, I know it's helped tremendously.
No shit.
I know. For me, it's helped tremendously because I, one, am a person who loves to be home, so not having to really go anywhere has been really amazing for the last few years. Mm-hmm. I love that. And also, so there was somebody, I forget who said it or where I read it, but during COVID, I remember somebody said that now they were working at home, it felt like they were living at work versus working from home. Mm-hmm. And I think that there are some people who have a challenge with negotiating their time and space so that they're not constantly working. Mm-hmm. Because it's now so normal. It used to be for some people that they would go to work, they would have their work computer in a desk that they sat at, mm-hmm. and when they got up and left for the day, it was pretty much done. They may check email on their phone here and there. Mm-hmm. But now people have whole offices, you and I included, in their home. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people I find who I talk to are working more than ever. Mm-hmm. They're overworking because it's so much easier to do so because they're in that flow, right? You work in your office for 8 hours a day, and then on your way back to bed, you pass your office and and there's emails that you could answer right now, or you could wait till tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. And if you have a little bit of energy, you might do it right now. And so that's why I was having a little bit of a hard time with it, because I think that in theory, yes, but for some people in practice, it has turned into a easier conduit for overworking. I
just think everybody needs to draw a boundary and stick to it.
I know, that's hard though for some people.
I mean,
it's hard.
It's not. This is what you do. You walk out of your at-home office and you shut the door.
Yeah.
The same way that if you walked out of the building,
yes,
where your old dinosaur desktop used to be,
right?
That then you were locked out of the building until the next day,
right?
And you just have to treat it that way.
I 100% agree.
And the other trick to it,
yeah,
is setting that standard for the other people that you work with, mm-hmm. because there are always and have always been people that even if that office door was locked,
yeah,
they were making their to-do list for the next day, or right? They're just people that function that way.
Yeah.
So setting the stage and the standard for other people that when you're done with work for the day, you're done with work for the day.
Right.
And that's that.
Right.
And just sticking to that. You can do that in a very respectful way of saying, mm-hmm. when I'm done with the day at 5 o'clock, that's my time for myself and my mm-hmm. family. And so I will not be responding to emails. You can mm-hmm. even set an automatic reply that goes every day, and you mm-hmm. never even have to think about it. Mm-hmm. And if somebody emails you, you could say, I do not respond to emails after 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. Monday through Friday, mm-hmm. Or on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to stick to it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think boundaries is a big thing. And I think for a lot of people, those boundaries just got a little bit more blurred when everything just came home, you know, especially if you're somebody who doesn't have an office. Some people don't have the privilege of having an entirely separate workspace, so they're working at the kitchen table, or, you know.
That's even better. Close your computer, put it in a bag, put it in the closet, and go out to dinner.
I agree with you. I am very good with the boundaries. I'm like, listen, family time is family time, work time is work time, you know, but like that's also under the guise that everyone's working 9 to 5, you know. So that's one of the things that I like, that I've adopted and that we've adopted at Pinnacle is, you know, putting something in our email signatures. There's a woman that I worked with who was just like really influenced me on the work-life balance. She was a contractor who worked in multiple capacities with multiple companies globally, and so she had something in her email address that basically said, like, you know, if my work hours and your work hours may be different, it just acknowledging that. And so, like, don't feel, if I'm sending this to you at a time that you're not working, don't feel like you need to answer. And that's one of the things that we've adopted here at Pinnacle that I love, you know, that I love seeing that in everyone's email, because it's not everybody works 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, some people have kids, some people are working late at night, some people are working super early in the morning, some people take the middle of the day off. And,
many people in different time zones.
Yeah.
I think something else that you can do that we've adopted is like schedule sending your emails, or like our Slack messages, right? Like we always know when somebody has been working late at night, because at like 9 o'clock,
you get all the flood.
Everybody gets my like messages like at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, good morning.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're probably sleeping.
Right, because I was up till 2.
Exactly.
Right, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think like, you know, there are different types of workplace environments. We have a very flexible schedule environment because we want to make sure people can attend to their families, and we have lived experience coaches that may have things come up with their kids, and so, you know, we really want to make sure that we're creating that kind of environment. But I love to schedule send over sending something in the middle of the night, because if somebody doesn't have like their notifications off, then work does come into their head. Yeah. And so I try to remember, every now and then I'm like working a little too fast and I'll send something. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh crap. But I really try to schedule send things so they go in the morning, and like when people are shut off from work, they're shut off from work. Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's like an agreement that you make with the people that you work with. Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, it's like respecting other people's time and space. So, okay, cool. Here we go. Booze or wooze? Booze or wooze? Wooze. All right, this one. Hustle culture at work is glorified self-destruction. Interesting. Hustle culture at work is glorified self-destruction. Booze. I'm gonna agree with this one. You're gonna woo it? I'm gonna woo it. Okay. You go first. I don't feel like hustle culture equals self-destruction. So that's why I can't really agree with that. You know, I think I don't love quote unquote hustle culture, the true hustle culture, but I don't necessarily think that that's self-destruction or like people are making the choice to self-destruct by hustling. I feel like we don't live in a time anymore where people get a 9-to-5 job that also comes with a retirement plan and a pension. And so people are awake to that and are working really hard to redefine what work means to them and make the best money and create the future and the lifestyle that they want. So to me, I actually feel like that's something that you're doing for yourself that's great. And however you go about it, I think is, you know, if it's working for the goal that you're trying to achieve, and you're not having negative outcomes with your physical or mental health, then more power to you. Make it happen.
Yeah. I think for me, I wooed it because I have seen in various workplace environments where a lot of the people are overachievers, not overachievers, but like high achieving individuals that, you know, and I think we touched on this briefly in a previous podcast episode where we were talking about suicide rates at some of these higher level learning institutions, that I think sometimes, and a lot of times, people overwork as like a compensatory factor for dealing with trauma or stress or whatever, right? For some people who it's like, you keep going, and if I just keep focusing on work, then I'm avoiding the things in my life that I really don't feel like I have the mental capacity to deal with. And I think that shows up in a lot of ways in certain like work environments. And then I think too, you know, sometimes, which is why like employee well-being is so much to take into consideration, why it's important to have things like workplace well-being, is because there's always gonna be a goal. There's always gonna be something that you're trying to attain. But the idea is that you also are enjoying your life right now as it is. And I think our culture, like our capitalistic culture here in the US, is very much like individualistic, individual achievement. Like there's always more to do, there's always more to be had, there's always more money to make. And it's hard for some people to draw the line. And sometimes it gets glorified in company settings where it's just like, I'm working and you're not, so you're a problem, you know? And I think that can put a lot of pressure on people to like keep up, which even if it's like you said, going against their like mental health and wellness. So, you know, I've seen it in a lot of like company settings. You know, I do a lot of work with employee well-being and like a lot of like type A healthcare professionals who are used to being perfect and like working hard to achieve and save lives. Literally, it's like, you know, the work that they do is life or death. It can be really challenging for people to kind of turn that off. So, you know, I think sometimes it can be really ingrained in a cultural experience at a company, and a lot of people don't think about it until it's like off the rails, until like employees can't stay around because they're burnt out, or you're seeing the effects of an employee's burnt outness, you know. So that's why I wooed it, because I do think it's a cultural phenomenon.
It is something like a phenomenon.
Something like a
phenomenon.
All right.
This is our last one.
Let's do one more.
Tick tock.
Let's see. Let's find a good one. Okay, this is a good one.
Oh. Go.
Strict workplace hierarchies hinder mental well-being and innovation.
Strict workplace
Hierarchies hinder mental well-being and innovation.
Okay, let's do this. Let's flip this one together.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Boo!
Woo!
Okay, you went first last time, so I'll quickly say why I booed it. I guess for me, a hierarchical structure provides like infrastructure so that it's clear what everyone is doing. And I think that you can be very thoughtful with how that hierarchy shakes down and how it shows up every day. but that having people in certain positions makes a difference. Like I know for us, like we've had discussions around like we need to show that org chart again because people are forgetting who's who and who's doing what and like who they should be going to for what purpose. And so I think that is necessary for workflow. But if it involves people being like in a power struggle or like, you know, feeling like because they're in a position of power that they have the last word, then yeah, like people aren't going to feel, you know, safe to be creative and to say what they want to say. But I do think that like infrastructure is helpful. So that's why I disagreed.
I
or booed it.
Wooed it because I feel like hierarchy and policy and rules and all of these things are the wet blanket on top of creativity. Just like goosh, slap down like ideas.
It's true.
I do not think that it is, unless you are like literally, and even I don't even 100% know this because I've never like worked in that industry that's like a complete creative industry.
Yeah.
But I feel like unless you're 100% in that kind of an industry where people potentially all the way up the ladder, quote unquote, like understand what you need to be creative, I think that the more hierarchy and structure that there is, the less innovation and creativity there is within the workplace.
It's so interesting.
I just don't know that like what, I don't think I could come up off the top of my mind with an organization that just bursts out with innovation and creativity that is huge.
Apple.
That's all Steve Jobs.
Google.
Google's
Steve
not
Jobs has been dead.
Yeah, and their shit hasn't actually changed since he died.
It's true. It has been very similar.
It's just like exactly. They're like, we think we can tweak this one thing and maybe it'll still work.
Yeah. But what you're talking about is hierarchical because there are so many people that work for Apple. But
Right.
Steve Jobs was like the person
That's what I'm
who
saying.
said what to do, and then it trickled down.
They were
through the hierarchy.
They were carrying out the creative vision.
Right.
That came from like
Right.
it came from him building it up,
Right.
and then creating a structure underneath him to carry out the vision that he had.
Right. Which
it's
to
like,
me is like that structure.
What you're talking about is like what we do, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
we're doing something that's innovative and new,
Right.
And we're lucky enough that we have like a handful of people that fully like understand what we're doing, and we like give them full whatever to do
execute.
it. But like whenever we have had like more, it like there's no creativity. It's like
they're just doing what we said,
and it's not that well done.
Right.
So like I just think, you know, and like
I feel like we're saying the same thing, but we're seeing
we're looking at it from different vantage points. I think maybe, but I don't think. And as somebody who has worked in quote unquote like innovative roles and had jobs along the way created
it's just a
for
buzzword,
me, right? Like, and then you come into these systems and it's like they want to make these changes, but like the freaking like structures that have been built above, like it's
like we gotta get permission from this group, and then this group has to sign off over here, and then these people have to be like, and then it's like,
and then they're like, and now that we've done all that, we're gonna send it to legal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I quit.
Yeah. Legalize these.
I gotta go work at Starbucks and I'm doing my creative thing on the side.
I'm gonna go draw flowers on people's coffee because that's way more fun.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And then you can actually walk out and not take your job home with you. Because you're like, I made everybody's coffee right today, drew flowers on them, wrote a positive note on the cup, and now I'm going home to fucking live my life and have a nice day. Time to go.
Time to wrap it up. So don't forget, work-life balance, well-being.
Is a choice.
Yes, and well-being in the workplace starts
Now.
with you.
Just throw it in words.
It's time to go. Have a great day, everybody.
Go for a wellness walk.
Yes.